Welcome, Cover Slaves, the show where we play 30K.
AOS. We're playing AOS.
Playing
new game today.
AOS.
Yeah.
Pretty models, painted. No terrain rules, so really nothing's changed. We'll be back with we'll introduce the armies then.
Yeah. I'm doing. We're doing 1,500 points. Doing Iron Jaws.
I got Chaos Corn.
So that's like a subset. That's a subset.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand what's going on, so I'm very lost. We'll be back.
1,500 point Aegis Sigmar Iron Jaw army. It's using the Iron Jaw Alliance. I've got Gordrak as my general. I've got a Mega Boss with the Destroyer artifact. It's like the additional point of damage onto his axe. It's on the axe. And then I've got 3 Gorgruntas with the short range melee weapon. I've got a squad of Brutes with the double choppers, and the sergeant or boss has the claw and the smasher. And I've got 10 Ardboys with the leadership in combat banner and full command. And there's 4 shields, and the rest are the great weapons. And the not characters are in the Iron Fist battalion. So that's my 1,500 points. And I forgot to mention the Brute boss is the big boss of the Iron Fist.
1,500 points of Chaos. Today we're running Corn, because Corn cares not. So leading the army, I'm sure you guessed, is Archaon. We're all kind of imposed by how big he is. To round it out, we have our Chaos Lord, and I gave him the Gore Cleaver Blade, so he has a -1 rend, and then a wound of 6 become mortal wounds, so that's pretty cool. We also have our Aspiring Deathbringer. We have our 2 5-man Chaos Warrior squads, both with the Mark of Corn. A little count as today, because the old handbook had them as 10 as starters, so we have a full command there. Then we have 10 Chosen, and they're metal, so they're really old, and hopefully they won't break again. And to round it out, we have 5 Chaos Knights, and I gave them Glaives. And that is exactly 1,500 points.
So I won roll for deployment for sides. So I took the side right here. So
We're doing Battle for the Pass.
yeah, we're doing Battle for the Pass. We have our Chaos Knights here, 5-man squad of warriors here, Chosen up here, Chaos Lord, Aspiring Deathbringer, and Archaon himself. A few terrain things to go over. All this, our garden is impassable except for the door here. Both Clarence and I agreed. We also decided to fight through it within up to their weapon profiles limits, obviously. Also, we talked it over thoroughly, and we're not rolling for initiative at the end of each battle phase. Clarence and I are fairly experienced gamers, and we both agree that Age of Sigmar is really good, except for that one thing, because that's why you see a lot of games over by turn 2, or some armies completely crushed. So we agreed on that, actually beforehand and everything, and this will make more for a tactical, flexible game.
Also, we're measuring base to base, not model to model, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, or else Archaon would never hit, when he's 14 inches in the sky.
Oh yeah.
So that's the end of my deployment, so we'll get back to you with Clarence's, and then turn 1 is back to me.
Iron Jaw deployment. First of all, I rolled, after I finished deploying, I rolled for a triumph because I have slightly less points, and I got the reroll failed armor save, so it's being in the pocket for later. Starting over here, I've got Gordrak. He's close to the objective to try and score it. Then I have my unit of 10 Ardboys, claiming my central one to start. I've got my Brutes and my Mega Boss with the artifact, and then I have my Gorgruntas on the other flank because they're also fast. And yeah, I did finish deploying first because I have way less stuff than he does, and I give him first turn because he deployed kind of conservatively, and I would like to not get charged by his stuff. So we'll see at the end of Chaos turn 1.
Chaos turn 1. Not much happened. First turn movement. So we'll start with our command abilities and everything. Archaon popped his Warlord without Peer. So the Aspiring Deathbringer is giving everything within 6 inches, +1 attack. The Chaos Lord also is giving my Chosen reroll 1s because they're the Mark of Khorne, as well as himself. I tried Mystic Shield. I failed with a 4, and nothing was close enough to Arcane Bolt. Other than that, I just did a lot of movement. So my guys are claiming this objective here for 1 point for my turn, and my Chaos Knights are within 6 for 2. So I am currently at 3 points, and that's the end of Chaos turn 1.
Iron Jaw's turn 1. Starting off in the hero phase, I rolled for the Rampaging Destroyers, whatever their like army trait thing. And I get 2 rolls because I have 2 heroes, and I rolled a 4+ for him, and I gave my Gore Grunters an extra 6 inches of movement, and then in combination with the Iron Fist, I got something like 4 more inches for them that I didn't really use, and 5 for the Brutes, and then fairly good rolls for all of them. I made a 8-inch charge, but it was 7-inch because I get +1, and like a 10 or something. And they charged in and rolled alright to hit, not so well to wound. Matt made a good amount of saves, and then he did more damage back in return. I didn't lose anyone, so that's no like dumb Archaon debuffing or anything. And then I moved Gordrak down here, claimed this objective, tried to yell just barely within 8 inches at them, failed to wound, and I also racked up 3 points. I also didn't use my command ability, so we're tied. We'll see what happens when Monster Mash goes down, and see at the end of Chaos turn 2.
Chaos turn 2. Archaon used his command ability once again. It's going to be going off as much as it can. He gave the Aspiring Deathbringer gave +1 attack to the Warriors and the Knights, and the Knights combined with Archaon's debuff ability with the Crown of Damnation managed to kill 1 Gore Grunter, the other one fleed. I did lose 2 in return, but it's a pretty good trade-off. My Chaos Warriors are still standing here. My Lord of Chaos tried to charge into the Maw Crusher, but it was a big charge because of the vertical terrain. I didn't get it. It was okay, but my Chosen did get in, and they had a really good turn against the Maw Crusher. They caused 8 wounds.
Yeah, and I used my Inspire as well.
Yeah.
The Triumph, and I still failed.
That saved him about 3 wounds, but I took him down about 2 brackets. I caused 5 mortal wounds with the axes, and then the Maw Crusher kind of punched my guys into the dirt. But it was a pretty good trade-off, all in all. A 240-point unit against his. So he's pretty weakened, and Archaon charged into the Ard Boys and wiped them out with the attacks and Battle Shock. I scored 5 points that turn, so the current score is 8-3. And we'll see you with Iron Jaw's turn 2.
Iron Jaw turn 2. We're gonna kind of start down over here. I got one of the 2 Iron Jaw like activation of the hero phases off, and I used it on Gordrak to finish off the Chosen, because when you're in combat you get to pile in and slay them down. So I killed them in the hero phase. I failed to use his like the second one, like rolled 1 4+. And I used Gordrak's command ability on the Ard Boys, and by extension the Gore Grunta, because they're part of the same battalion. In my movement phase, I moved up with my force. I got Bursting yelled at his Chaos Lord, reducing it to 1 wound. And I charged the Aspiring Deathbringer and the 5-man Chaos Warriors that were here with my 2 characters, and I got a big 16-inch charge onto his Chaos Knights, and that's the combination of the 3d6 charge from the command ability, the Iron Jaws +1, and their Drummer for another +2. I started with Gordrak, and I killed his Deathbringer with his axes, and then mostly finished off the Chaos Warriors. His normal hero killing axe got +1 attack because that's what I killed the hero with. And then because the Iron Jaw smashing and bashing special rule, it immediately goes to the next closest unit that hasn't attacked yet. Like, so I get to break the priority. So I attacked with my Mega Boss, and he finished off the 5-man warrior squad, which sent it over to the Ard boys, and they chopped up some knights. He retaliated, did a wound, and then my Gore Grunta boss managed to kill another knight. So really good turn for me, and really like to see the mechanics in place. We did realize we kind of fucked up the objective. We were doing it at the end of each player turn. It's the end of the game turn, and it slightly readjusted the point value, so it's 6 to 5 instead of 8 to 3. So it is going to be dire because Archaon's coming to even some things out, but his Chaos guys kind of found out they were ripe for some smashing. So we'll see at the end of Chaos turn 3.
Chaos turn 3. Archaon moved up because my army's getting smaller and smaller. And he...
Spells.
Oh yeah, I failed Mystic Shield. I failed Arcane Bolt because I can't roll higher than a 5 for whatever reason.
4 actually, because
yeah.
Bolt goes on a 5.
It was bad. My dice from turn 2 on have been absolute garbage. I barely made a save. Anyway, the knight died. Archaon killed a whole bunch of the Ard boys.
Oh yeah.
My Lord of Chaos, I tried a Hail Mary. He had the Gore Cleaver, so if I had wounded Gordrak...
The Reaping Blade.
Yeah,
ability,
the
right?
Reaper Blade, if I had wounded, if I had hit first, which I rolled a 2 for, and I can't re-roll a 2, but I can re-roll 1s, I would have had a -3 rend, and then he would have done D6 or 2d6 damage to Gordrak. In theory, it should have worked, and it really would have crippled him, but I flubbed.
Yeah,
like I said, my dice have been awful, but it's still a really close game, all things considered. So that's kind of the end of Chaos turn 3. Those guys are still holding my objective because it's the only thing that's going to rack me up points. And we'll come back to you at the end of Ard Boy's turn, or Iron Jaw's turn 3.
Iron Jaw turn 3, and we had some hero phase shenanigans that went down. Because it was my turn, I got to do all my hero phase stuff first. I Inspiring Presenced them, and then I got one of my 4+s to activate. So they tried to attack Archaon. They didn't do anything. Oh no, they did a wound.
No, they didn't.
No,
that's when
no, yeah, you passed it on a 4+. And then I got the second one, but I didn't want to charge anything else into him because it's pick and choose. And then he used his Blood Tithe to fall back out of combat and move 12 to where he's standing now. So in my movement phase, I moved up my Ard Boys and my Gore Grunta. Then I fell back. Well, I moved and ran Gordrak back to claim this objective to start scoring, and I kind of aggressively positioned my Mega Boss to deny some area, some landing space. So I actually no combat this turn because I declined to charge his Chaos Warriors because they're a bit too close to Archaon, and instead we just kind of like racked up our points for the end of turn 3, and I got 5 and Matt got 1, and we'll see at the end of Chaos turn 4.
So the reason I used the Blood Tithe to move Archaon out, just since it is kind of my hero phase 2 for this.
Yeah.
I didn't want his whole army charging Archaon since I've been flubbing my saves all game. So I wanted to take the initiative to take the fight to him.
Yeah.
That's why I got out of combat.
Yeah, especially since Gordrak's been getting his hero slaying axe powered up.
Yeah.
So definitely a smart move. I like it a lot. And again, see you at the end of Chaos turn 4.
Chaos turn 4, my dice rolling luck is still absolute shit. Chaos guys were Inspiring Presence charged up. I did 2 wounds.
A wound.
A wound,
yeah.
Yep. So and he killed a guy in return, and put a wound on another one with my with his pig and his Ard Boys.
Archaon moved up. Mystic shielded himself. Yay, finally. Arcane bolted. Finally. Yay. 2 wounds on Gordrak, but I rolled a 4 for my charge.
Yeah.
I needed a 5. 5 or a 6.
Yeah, just so you can fit the base in.
So that screwed me royally. So that's the end of my turn. I'm pretty pooched, unless there's a miracle. So we'll see what our Iron Jaw's turn 4.
Iron Jaw's turn 4. You'll notice something's missing. But just so the turn, got my Iron Jaw movement to charge in, and because we said we were doing the 1-inch thing, I was able to maneuver in and place my thing, my Gordrak. Wasn't too much else to go on. I moved my Mega Boss up so he could claim the objective if things, if my guy didn't die, if Gordrak didn't die, I would outnumber 2-1. And also just because, like, the smart thing would have been just not to charge in and get an extra 2. But we all wanted to see the showdown, so we did showdown. Charge in, I did like 3 mortal wounds from his impact hits. His axes like cut him up. I got him down to 8 actually. However, Matt did a really nice play of after reflecting like a bunch of wounds back on the 6s, and then attacking with the tails to like get me down to like 1 wound. He gobbled down the entire model with the corn head and healed 2 wounds back. 3 wounds back. Yeah, like that. Burped him out. So Gordrak did do like 11 wounds.
Yeah.
11 wounds, and Matt, despite the rest of the game not going so well with the armor saves, he did do a good amount of saves.
5, 6s.
Yeah, there's like a respectable amount of saves going down, so it could have been pretty devastating. And then over here in this combat, his Chaos Warrior swung against the Arboys and did 3 wounds, and I had a wound on a guy already, so I lost 2 models. But the pig, of course, gobbled down some guys. He's going to shit them out later for their armor, and it's been pretty good. I didn't have to run because the banner adds +2. I couldn't fail the leadership test, and the Chaos Warriors were still inspiring presence. So turn 4 ended. I got 3 points from holding these 2 objectives, while Matt got 1 from his home base one. So I think it's actually impossible for me to lose at this point, but we're still going to see kind of carnage goes down on turn 5.
Chaos turn 5. Pretty quick turn. So Archaon charged the Mega Boss. Slayer of Kings took out 3 wounds.
Oh, you magic down my Ard Boy.
I magic down his Ard Boy, and I got a Mystic Shield off too. It was great. I've still lost though. So Slayer of Kings took off 3 wounds to the Mega Boss, took another wound off with the tail in the head, but he was still left with 1. And then Dorgar...
I had 3.
You had 3?
Yeah, I had 3 left.
You had 3 left. So Dorgar decided to say, fuck this, and pounded him with 6 wounds with his fists to make bloody pulp. I also lost Chaos Warrior, and I couldn't fail Battle Shock. So that's the end of turn 5 for me. I've lost, but it was fun. And we'll see you at the end of Cleary's turn 5, and I guess the summary.
Alright, so super fast turn. I fell back with my Gorgrunta and got within 6 of the objective, and this guy was not within 6. So I counted as holding it, and the turn ended, and I racked up, I think it's like 7 from the 3 that I now possess. Matt got an extra 2 from Archaon. And yeah, the game ends at 5, and I got 21 to Matt's 14. So decisive Iron Jaw victory, but still pretty good game, and we'll see you in the post-game show. Alright, so welcome to the post-game show. You've totally skipped us playing 1,500 points of AOS, but maybe not, because
it's
a
new
game for this channel. So I guess, Matt, like, epic fail first. What do you think failed epically?
The epic failing of 4-inch charge, which costed me the game we discussed.
Yeah.
That sucked.
would have been close or maybe just.
But
shy
surely
of
you're
loss.
going to give Archaon MVP, so I don't think he can get epic fail. Like,
Yeah, well, it's, chaos is fickle that way. I guess the other epic failness would be how cold my dice were from turns 2 to.
Yeah, I would say maybe the Chaos Lord who rolled the 1.
Yeah,
or the 2.
The 2. The
two.
one thing he couldn't re-roll
Yeah.
because if he could have smoked Gordrak pretty damn easily, a -3 rend and then 2d6 damage.
Potentially mortal wounds.
Yeah, potentially. If I rolled a 6, he would have did 2d6 mortal wounds, and Gordrak only had like 6 wounds.
He had 7 left.
7. So, averages. So, it was pretty close.
So, MVP, I wonder who it's going to be.
I think it's Archaon.
Okay, I think it's Archaon too.
Yeah, he kind
Maybe
of
the
took
Cornhead specifically.
Yes, how he ate a whole cabbage.
Yeah.
Just proving veggies are good for you.
Alrighty, so my epic fail, starting first, I guess. Gotta be the Brutes, I guess. I kind of threw them in. Or no, they got thrown in.
Archaon charged them in.
Failed all my saves for them, not great. They have low leadership, that's really their like big weakness.
And the -2 on top of that.
The -2, and I rolled a 6, like they're super dead. But you know, like, they weren't really the big thing in this list. 2,000 points, I'll have way more of them, and then they'll probably do a whole lot more, but right now, not too much to do. They got chomped. And I guess MVP for me, I don't know, I want to say Gordrak because he kind of like enabled the whole mid-game swing. Yeah. But I think the Gorgrunta, the one that from turn 1 to turn 5 was still in the middle of things.
Taking no wounds.
Yeah. But I think it does have to be Gordrak because he really enabled the beatdown on the Chosen, the slaying of some characters, the big mid-game charge into the lines, and yeah, so it's got to be Gordrak, even though he did get eaten by Dorgar's right head. So I guess thoughts on the game, and I guess by extension some AOS thoughts as well.
Well, it was really close.
Oh, yeah.
It was really close. This is my
3 models.
Yeah, 3 models. This is my second AOS game. We played once, I think almost last year.
Yeah, that was probably one of my last AOS games too. Yeah.
So we're big fans of where it's going right now. The models are getting better and better. I'm not a fan of the Sea Elves just because I have a hard time conceptualizing flying sea turtles.
Under the sea.
Man, the sharks are nice though. Like they're big. I didn't notice.
The boat's fucking cool.
Yeah.
The boat is nice. The real Eidolon is nice.
It's $140 for that. Yeah, I just.
Yo, he's
it's
big.
expensive,
Man, he's big. Like he's not Archaon big, but
I don't
he's
think
like
anything's Archaon. We put it.
Yeah, there's
like we were screwing around. Chaos Knight and Archaon. Like,
yeah, nothing is Archaon big, but the thing is like Mortarian size. Like the wings obviously always add a lot, but like girth, he's big.
Comment on the no random turn thing.
Yeah. So as we said, we do like where it's going. We did have to like axe the random turn because the double turn's absurd.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like just from it's a very like beer and pretzel-y thing, but like I think at least the 2.5. I'm not sure if Ben has an opinion.
We saw how cold dice can be.
Yeah,
the game doesn't have to double down and be
cold
on top of that.
The game's gotten better the more it's moved away from the beer and pretzel aspects, like giving points and like the stuff they've been doing. They made it really like from just like a joke into
which it was in the beginning.
Yeah. And then into something, in my opinion, was infinitely better than 7th. They did integrate some 7th edition things like formations, but they did it in a way more tame way. Allies, way more tame and like controlled.
There are limits.
Yeah, like you pay for your battalions. I mean, that's a big step up. And they're not game breaking.
If you break your allegiance, you lose all of your special abilities and access to anything unique.
Soup is bad.
Yeah, like you have.
So it's similar to 8th in that way.
No.
Well, the soup thing at least now.
Originally.
Right?
No, soup is not.
I thought soup was out.
No.
Soup's out.
What they did was in 8th, your detachment can't use Imperium or Chaos or whatever keywords, but you can still use like Space Marines or Nurgle or like that.
Like Archaon, he's got
and you
all
can still
these
have
to use.
Imperium as your overall Battleforged Army keyword. So it doesn't matter. You can still have soup. It's just not as...
we'll call it broth.
Yeah, it's broth at this point. But yeah, no, AOS, you don't mix unless you got your 20% of allies.
The models look nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Clary's painting is... I've always been happy with his painting, and he's really taken it up a new level.
The dry brush level, that's the level I've achieved. Like, the meme where the different steps, like precise edge highlighting's the no mind-blowing, like dry brush is the fucking zen state.
I thought the hair on them was chainmail until I looked closer. I was like seeing it from the hogs.
Oh yeah, the hogs.
I thought it was chainmail. I get close, I'm like, oh, it's hair. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the happiest with the hair on the hogs, but
that's fine.
I can go back and fix it at this point.
They're sitting high on the hog.
Everything's painted. But yeah, the models are super nice.
They're getting a lot better. Like the Deepkin models, even though I don't like the concept of the faction, the models are really great.
Yeah.
It's really
the other kid?
It's really showing what GW can do. And their prices aren't terrible lately.
Yeah, for sure that. In terms of the game, how that went, honestly, by like turn 2 when I did the whole command trait, I thought I was like pretty screwed. Because Archaon just chomped down on my brutes, which are like pretty high damage output.
Well, that was still when you were doing the scoring wrong too, isn't it?
Yeah. So the scoring was off by 4-point differential. But still, I was very worried Archaon was kind of coming into my back line.
He would have done that except for the Iron Jaw's movement buff.
Yeah.
That really took them out of my reach, and then I had to spend a turn getting back.
I was also a bit worried, like Gordrak just taking like 8 wounds out of his 15, and Matt had board control, and then I hadn't quite like, in my mind, it still hadn't really clicked like attacking the like hero phase with Gordrak to like make him able to move. I was able to move with him. I was able to like make the 3d6 plus 3 charge for the Ard boys, managed to like zoom them way up the board.
It was a lot.
So Archaon couldn't go into my back line and score that objective without leaving like the midfield super vulnerable. I was able to chain the smashing and bashing like really well for to like cheap priority, and it just turned out accidentally. It's my first game using Iron Jaws, and I hadn't really planned it out in my head ahead of time.
Worked.
Yeah, it worked really well, and
we're still learning, and it's a lot.
Even then, I wasn't sure really how the game would go, but I told Matt, I said, well, even if I do lose, I'm glad I got to see how the mechanics worked.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got to try the Iron Fist like D6. Got to get the 4+s off to move dudes and break sequence. It's pretty cool. And then Archaon got to heal wounds. He got to reflect mortal wounds back. That did a lot. The only thing he didn't get to do was Slayer of Kings, which
it's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, like Claire and I have talked, and my biggest problem with the Archaon is the Slayer of Kings is one of the top weapons in all of Age of Sigmar lore-wise, but it only has a -1 rend. At a minimum, it should be like -2.
I think 2 would be the most appropriate, because 3
would make him
out of
really
control.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't have the double 6s kill thing,
yeah,
I would say it should be 3. But because of that, and then he
can
massive synergy, which can give him more attacks if you take a lot of the chaos.
Which I didn't get to do. We were both kind of running low on time.
Yeah.
And this 1,500 point army is pretty much my old chaos stuff that I had like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like my 2,000 point Khorne army is much different. It's all like new Khorne stuff.
Yeah.
And the synergy is through the roof.
So yeah, I think Slayer of Kings -2. Dorgar himself doesn't have a whole bunch of like armor piercing damage. Like the fists can do a bunch of damage, but D6 is also kind of swingy, and -1 isn't like crazy compared to the Maw Crush in comparison of like -2 and then flat 3. Yeah. But yeah, like still we got to see a ton of stuff. It was really cool, and I personally had a great game.
Well, definitely
not just because I won, but also because I won.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm smiling still, and I got my teeth kicked in pretty good, and I kicked them back.
Oh yeah.
And even Ben didn't mind us playing, so we'll.
Yeah.
I got pretty pictures.
Yeah, he achieved like tolerance on Age of Sigmar.
So we'll probably bring you
It's
another
painted,
one.
it's tolerable.
So we'll definitely bring you guys another one at some point. I got my Imperial Fist coming in a month-ish.
And I mean coming.
Yes.
Alright.
Full fist.
Anyway, I think that just about wraps it up.
Oh, come on, you have to shit talk 8th, Clarence.
Oh, talk 8th. Oh,
Give the people what they want.
So I'm not sure if we like did this at the end of the last segment. I don't think
I got
we
cut
did.
off seeing this.
Okay, so the deep
FOCs.
FOCs.
Or like
Why
what?
bother is the question.
With the rule of 3, you mean?
So the rule of 3.
In conjunction.
So here's my opinions on the rule of 3 and the multiple FOCs is why wasn't it just kept as the 5th edition / combined arms detachment, guys? That limited spam and also kind of, set the groundwork for all the armies conforming to the same kind of thing. I know it can't sell as many models, but the only real problem was like the end game, like the end of edition power level of codexes in terms of like Grey Knights with Purifiers or Paladin
Those are so
Star.
gross.
A lot of people say Necrons, but I personally didn't see a lot of Necron play at the end of 5th. And they weren't even that good at the end of 5th. It was really the start of 6th with the croissant spam that they got really crazy.
Necron Air Force.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of get that a bit confused.
Where people actually put croissants on. That was the greatest thing ever.
But yeah, so 5th worked pretty well. Like, the guard leaf blower was annoying, but like it depended on going first. And also that's just how the armor interaction worked. If you saw the start of 6th was pretty tame. Because, I don't know. That's my thought. Like, even with allies, you were very limited to allies to start 6th. Right now, rule of 3 is going to tone down a lot of stuff. But I've already seen people, like, trying to cherry pick from index entries and then, like, codex entries just to, like, get around the 3 limitation.
Like Dark Eldar, for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
The witches and the Trueborn weren't included in the new codex.
Witches are in it.
No, like the Blood Brides.
Oh, yeah, the Blood Brides.
They're better witches.
Well, the reason is there's no models.
Doesn't.
It does to GW. And talking about that, I've seen people take them out of the index because they still exist in the index and they just cram them into Venoms.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I definitely think index things should start getting limited at some point.
They probably will once all the codexes are out saying they're no longer applicable.
Which
or
at this rate should be
or at
about
least
4
in
days.
matched play, because match is supposed to be the one that like has restrictions, and then the other ones are like you can do whatever you want. Again, matched play is supposed to be the more like restricted one. Yeah. So maybe even like cut down on the detachments.
Perish the thought.
Yeah, that's my thing. Deep Strike, something really heavy-handed. They like combine like 3 or 4 nerfs, in addition to like points increasing the things that abuse the Deep Strike, and the Mortal Wound spam, and the stratagem moving after it. They nerfed a bunch of melee armies. Grey Knights got super shafted because all of their units pay a premium to be able to Deep Strike, and it sucks now.
Because they're getting blown off the table in the first turn.
Demons, mono demon lists where you want to, use all Nurgle, all Khorne, can't. Their Deep Strike's super hampered, and the Deep Strike is already built on the power level. You cost more command points to Deep Strike the bigger things.
Now we have to keep track of power level too.
Oh, don't get me started on that too, because you not only have to build your list, half of it can be in Deep Strike.
You can't see it, but I just shot myself in the head.
Yeah. So if you play by points like most grown-ups do. Make your list, and then if you use something like, I don't know, Battle Scribe, you don't really pay attention to the point level. If you use just out of the book, you're already flipping back and forth between the
which are not set up well.
Like,
that is my problem.
Or even just saying the back of the book. You're looking through the back of the book. You're like, okay, I got like 5 whatevers. I got these many weapons. Then you get to go and add up your power level, and then calculate how many power levels the units you want to deep strike are.
Ben's crying.
And then that's the make sure it doesn't go over half. So really, you're forced to use power level, even if you're using points for list building mechanics, not just like, I'm going to summon. Like, for summoning, power level, whatever, it's super easy.
It's time for a Patreon joke, because I have to go kill myself.
Yeah, please donate upwards of $800 to Patreon so Ben can buy a gun, a handgun.
Very hard
rope.
Very hard in Canada.
No, he can buy a handgun off some guy on the street and shoot himself quickly.
Well, now that Architect just found handgun, we're gonna be fucking red flagged. So.
A handheld ballistic projecting weapon.
Hand fun.
Yeah, hand fun. So Ben can commit what's a nice
regrettable decision in the morning.
No, there won't be any regrets because he won't be with us.
No,
and he will not be regretting his investment.
Ethan killed me a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. He's
just his soul.
Exactly.
So yeah, Ethan, nice over nerfing guys, but that's because we have to have 2 big FAQs and not like a gradual adjustment. Like any kind of game you see these days, they do like slight adjustments until it's done. Anyway, and speaking of done, I think we've ranted enough.
Yeah.
And
we're getting Plastic Sisters. Yay!
See you next time.
Webway.
Oh yeah, the giant webway. Yeah. Teleport your models in, which you can't do.
Bye-bye.
Gods of war, may your hammer be mighty.